Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye
Tonight, the show that gives you an opportunity to air what you feel and think about the latest development on our political front. Well, a lot is taking place so fast. Therefore, everybody must work hard to stay on the cutting edge as far as making sense of our politics is concerned, and of course, remaining on top of all matters. Tonight, this is Sound Candy Talk Live. 72 people have cast their vote already, and only 42 have liked the video. Justified. So from the look of things, the majority of Kenyans think the government need to up their. Glad to report we are back on the main channel as well, and therefore we are asking everybody to join from wherever you are. Sound Candy Talk Live YouTube channel, and we are also live on X as well as extended to Facebook.
You are watching Sound Candy Talk Live.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back for another amazing episode, another amazing moment. Kama dawa, I go by the name Shadizo. The name I haven't returned it back, but the name still remains. But tonight I want to welcome you for this amazing political open forum show, whereby we'll be checking and looking more details on what has happened throughout the day. Many things have happened throughout the day, and I will be taking you with the briefing so that you can know what we are talking about or where we are starting point at too. But I want to ask you, please invite somebody to join with. Don't just watch alone and remain getting the information alone. Well, other people, they lack the information. So tonight I want to welcome you all with a humble heart, with an open heart, to show you that welcome, so that we can have this great conversation together as Team Sound Candy Talk, and also other teams that are joining up inside our stories and inside our part, inside our journey. And for those who want to join up the show, you are seeing the link to join up you on the comment section, and it'll be good so that we can continue vibing together. I thank you for the team TikTok. Thank you, Diana, for joining up. Please just tell me where you're watching me from, and it'll be good. And I'll also be sharing your views too, and I'll also be sharing your opinions too. Well, for you are an amazing person. Thank you for Team TikTok, and I appreciate for Team Facebook too, Team YouTube. This is the place to be. This is the place where we are free to share your opinions and your views too, because they matter too. Tell me if you are getting me, please. Tell me the corner that you are getting me, please, and it will be good and it will be great so that we can move on together. I'll be giving out shout out from my people who are watching me from Team TikTok. Richie in the building. I see they. Thank you. I see Morland. Thank you. I see Engineer. Keep more. Thank you. I'll be listening from your comments too, and I'll be reading your comments too. I'll be sharing your views too. Tell me where you are getting me from, and muniambie kesho mnaenda maandamano ama muendi maandamano. Kwa nini mnaenda kuandamana? It's too bad for you going to Andamana and yet you don't know, or you don't have any clue why are you going to Andamana. So I'll be listening to everyone. JB, thank you in the building. I also see Team Facebook, Team YouTube. We see Esther in the building. Saying good evening, Bernard, and all of you. Thank you for those who are still joining. Team Eve, thank you. And hey, Team Sound Kind of in the building. And today, let me take you to the mud of the day. Today, we'll be checking about some stories, whereby one of the stories that we'll be checking on too is the story of Elder, one of the commercial police officers who is called who has decided to step down today. Also, we'll be checking about the little story about what has been transforming all out, and also Maraga wants to know more about the story and wants to arrest people if they will not take a good action. So also be checking about the story about Maraga and what the repercussions that Maraga is putting across that wants to be set it up. Thank you, Team TikTok, for those who are joining, Team YouTube, Team Facebook. I really appreciate for those who are joining, and I appreciate for those who are sharing their opinions too. Today, I've just set the forum free. If you want to join up the studio, use the link on the comment section at soundcandytalk@gmail.com, or SoundCandyTalk TV, or SoundCandyTalk live. I will be go. The link is on the comment section on Facebook and also on YouTube. Use the link, join up the show. Let us have the conversation as even we are moving on swiftly and having this great conversation tonight. I will be listening to everyone. Please share your views and share your opinions too. Team TikTok, thank you. And I see Narisha Shu. Thank you. I see Nani and Najita Shalimba. Thank you. Thank you for those who are still joining up. Thank you for those who are still joining up. CJ, thank you. And other more who are still joining up. The link is free to join up the studio. Please don't hesitate to join up. Panda screen tuweze kuongea pamoja, tuone tunafanya nini ama tunaweza kujadiliana vipi, ama sio, so that we can be good and be great as you're moving on swiftly. But before we go to the matter of the day, let me take you the brief things of the day, whereby we have seen a lot has happened during the day, and this is part of what has happened during the day. This is what they complain about the school academics and the teachers. So let us check out this and let's listen to this clearly.
Allowed to charge any levies without authorization from the Ministry of Education. The High Court has declared that it is unlawful for public schools to impose unauthorized levies on parents. The judgment comes at a time when parents have been questioning accountability in the management of public education funds, with many public schools accused of imposing illegal financial demands.
Although basic education in Kenya is free under the constitution, parents and students are still being exploited by heads of public schools through illegal levies. These include charges for admission, lockers, stationery, laboratory use, examinations, and extracurricular activities. In many cases, students are sent home for failing to pay these unlawful fees. The High Court has ruled against St. George's Girls Secondary School for charging parents unauthorized levies. In his judgment, Justice Lawrence Mugambi said no public school, even with backing from parents' associations, can impose fees without approval from the Education Cabinet Secretary. This after the school was found to have demanded payments for dormitory construction, infrastructure, remedial classes, and a budget deficit fund without ministry clearance. The High Court declined the petitioner's request for a refund of levies paid by parents, instead directing the Ministry of Education to conduct a full audit of how the funds were used and submit a report within 3 months. The judge also faulted the ministry for ignoring letters from the petitioner, raising concerns over the charges. The petitioner went to court after the school told him to pay an extra 25,000 shillings upon admission of his daughter in the school in 2023 for the completion of a dormitory, whereas he had cleared all the school fees. The petitioner, whose identity was concealed, was also required to pay 3,000 shillings as remedial fees, although it was not compulsory. While the court upheld the school's policy requiring parents to account for lost textbooks, it ruled that it was unreasonable to demand cash for lost books and that parents must be allowed to replace the books with their equivalent ones. Lillian Muli, Citizen TV.
Now, 4 police officers.
This is what is happening, or this is what is going on. This one part of it. This is so serious that there's some schools that claims money from parents, which is so bad. If they are doing so, where the lies allegation, bringing up something that they are not, something that's not there, so that you can just extract money from parents. This is bad indeed. Let us be careful, and let us also know when there's some things that are not going on well. Let us report and let us be aware and let us speak out. Kenyans, don't be silent. Tukasema mtasimama maovu yakitawala. So let us fulfill the promise. Don't just say it and then leave it bending like that. Let us say it and make sure that we fulfill it indeed. So don't just say it and then we actually that is too bad. I would like to listen from you. Please tell me where you're watching me from. Tell me your opinions too about that story, and it'll be good as you're moving on swiftly and swiftly. We'll be building up more because a lot more is coming and a lot more is cooking, and we're having more here and here alone. Another briefings of the day is all about the story of NSSF. NSSF also hits the headlines again. So let us listen to this announcement from the NSSF so that we cannot get into ditch. Hakuna kitu ambayo uingie kwa ditch na NSSF, watakufungia wakataka kupea pesa yako ukizeeka. Okay, let us check out this what happened with the NSSF.
Is moving to reassure members of the safety of their retirement savings following the release of a damning audit by the Auditor General. The report flagged up to 16 billion shillings in potential losses linked to underperforming investments and internal weaknesses, even as NSSF's top management insists there's been no loss of public funds. Dennis Otieno reports on the growing scrutiny and the fund's new investment direction in national infrastructure.
The Auditor General's review of the National Social Security Fund released early this month paints a troubling picture, one showing a possible 16 billion shilling exposure from poor investments, unremitted contributions, and stalled projects. But speaking during the opening of the International Social Security Association conference in Nairobi, NSSF Managing Trustee David Koros says no money has been lost.
If you read the auditor's report, and for the first time ever, NSSF got an unqualified audit report. Unqualified audit report. That's the most important message. The second issue, the figure they are quoting is not actually what was lost. It is misinterpretation. It is money stuck in projects. We have legacy issues, which we are dealing with. But most importantly, I want to assure the general public that their money is safe.
The fund is also defending its planned investment in the Rironi Mau Summit Toll Road Consortium, saying it is a well-vetted revenue-generating venture that aligns with its strategy to diversify and grow pension returns.
Actually, infrastructure investment the world over is done by pension schemes. I can name you almost 20 roads, infrastructure projects done in Africa by social security institutions.
We've been talking about building Likoni Bridge, looking for billions of money, trying to borrow from the World Bank, trying to borrow from ADB, trying to borrow from somebody, from the Chinese, trying to borrow. But maybe National Social Security Fund, we can partner in a way that as you grow and expand with a very good vision, we don't have to borrow money to build the Nyali Bridge. We can build it with our own Kenyan money.
But uncertainty looms as some quarters are questioning whether such large-scale infrastructure deals are appropriate for a pension fund already under audit scrutiny.
One investment can go bad, but that doesn't mean that the portfolio was wrong. Even when you make decisions, you make them for tomorrow. That's why there's this whole thing called diversification.
For now, NSSF is racing to reassure its contributors with a renewed push to modernize its systems, recover any stalled assets, and regularly disclose how members' savings are being managed. With 16 billion shillings in question and billions more poised for investment, the spotlight is firmly on NSSF's next move, and whether it can truly balance growth with safety in managing the country's retirement lifeline. Dennis Otieno, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
This is one of the updates also coming up across from NSSF, and I really think that it's getting hotter on the other side also. So I will go back to the matter of the day. We're checking about Chief Maraga's report from all other aspects also, because mambo ni mengi Kenya. The one thing I've realized with the Kenyans kwamba Wakenya wamesema kwamba ujinga iliisha, and Kenyans have decided that like kaende sana, ukituambia kitu yenye itubambi tunakukataza, ukituambia uongo tunakataa, tunataka ukweli. And one of the things has bring the light to every corner is the story of one of John. And the story has bring the diversity whereby you see that everyone now is on attention, that every Kenyans want to see that hii ni nini huyu amesema, na mbona anasema hivi, na mbona ilifanyika hivi, why atudanganye. So Kenyans are really appreciate for that timing that you are doing it, because that shows that now you begin to understand your rules and your rights, and you begin to understand what you're supposed to do. That's so good, and that's another approach. But today you have seen also the Maraga, the Chief Justice Maraga himself, speaking today about the issue that is on the matter on the hand about Kujua. And this is the things that Kenyans were less expected. And it came out. So let us listen to Maraga before we bring in Bernardis inside the studio.
Kanja is Deputy Eliud Lagat and DCI Director Mohamed Amin for lying under oath about the circumstances under which blogger Albert Ojwang was killed while in police custody. Maraga, who at one time led a police reforms task force, has also threatened to institute private prosecution if the government does not take action against the three who he says bear the overall responsibility. Kamau Mwangi has the details.
Pressure continues to mount, with Kenyans and human rights activists now demanding that the country's police chiefs resign.
We have no problem. We want to drop this. Who is in charge?
Former Chief Justice David Maraga, who presented a petition seeking accountability at the police headquarters in Nairobi, is demanding that three police chiefs, namely the Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja, his former Deputy Eliud Lagat, and DCI boss Mohamed Amin, be arrested, as they bore the ultimate responsibility in ensuring Ojwang's safety.
We demanded the arrest of the DCI because he lied on oath, and the IG, as well as Mr. Lagat himself, and they be prosecuted, and those, of course, who are associated with the murder of Ojwang.
While laying blame for the increased cases of police brutality right at President William Ruto's doorstep, Maraga says if nothing is done in the next 9 days to bring the three to book, Kenyans should come out in their numbers and demand the same.
We support the efforts of the other Kenyans who have already petitioned for private prosecution. And if no action is taken, we will join them and come up even with fresh charges against them.
The man who led the police reforms task force believes time has come to push the Kenya Kwanza administration to implement those reforms and better the National Police Service that has been adversely mentioned in having a hand at abductions, maiming and wrongful detention of government critics.
The spirit that was set by the agencies last year, who courageously came out and demanded their rights, is a spirit we all embrace. And we want to call upon all Kenyans to join the young people and the demand for this right. Without doing that, we are going to be taken for granted for years, and our country is going down the drain.
Kamau Mwangi, Citizen TV.
This is what's going on, and this is what is moving on, and this is what is rising up. And this is Maraga's speech today. We have listened to it, and he's saying that the people should be accountable. From the DCI, they lied to the parents that we will take care of your kid, but they didn't fulfill the promise. We have seen other people, even the senior police, the Douglas Kanja, and the other people also being put on a lap line front, and the claims are just the same. Maraga saying that if the government will not take responsibility, he will take it, and then saying that the spirit that Gen Z's started the other time it is inactive and it is ready to make sure that it works. So it said that we're impressing this. We are impressing the spirit Gen Z started. So the Gen Z spirit is the one that will still keep on going. Also, we'll be checking also that. I'll see Bernard is inside the studio. I don't know if the network is the problem, but I feel like we will get Bernard very soon. Bernard, how are you?
Yes. How is everybody? Thank you so much for being here. This is Kenya. We are used to a new way of operating. I hope you're able to get me clearly.
We are getting you from Obodoibo.
Yes. I'm happy of Maraga. We need to end the culture of lying, especially to the public. We cannot be a country of cheats and deceive. Wherever people of deception while serving the public. Public office and public service needs to have some trust by the public. So this aspect of people abusing office and misuse of powers in the public office must be brought to an end. And I'm happy that the former Chief Justice is taking the bull by the horns and demanding that from the fact that these public officers have lied under oath, they must face the consequences. And so I support that. And also, our police service must be transformed. These revelations that are coming with every passing day are shocking, but shocking in the sense that we knew that there are some fishy things that take place behind closed doors and behind police cells, but we didn't know it is this bad to an extent whereby senior police officers unleash uh, wherever criminals or other inmates to go and, in the name of discipline, a suspect. So it's shocking, and we believe and pray that this comes to an end. We cannot continue being part of a country that we cannot secure people while they are in the police cells. Uh, and then we are, these people are earning a salary. We are arming them, buying them uniform and everything else. Instead of them taking that as, a positive gesture by Kenyans, they are instead using it as a premise to punish the same Kenyans. So I think the police service needs now to shape up and realize they are the employees and we are the employers, and they need to respect each and every Kenyan, knowing that that least Kenyan in his being a citizen of Kenya and making his contribution through taxes is the one that secures your uniform, secures your office and your salary. So every Kenyan, be it whether they are behind bars or in prisons or wherever, they are the boss. It's not the police, it's not the police boss, and it's not the other political or otherwise public servants. The tables must turn, the tide must change, and everybody must find their space. I'm happy that this is unfolding at this point in time and pray that Kenyans are going to push until we get things right, because we have had this system upside down for too long, that the people you have hired are the ones now bullying you, and they're the ones pushing you around, and they're ones, making your life hell on earth. This must end. So that colonial mindset of where the police is the boss and the politician is the boss, and the public servants are the bosses. That must end. And if there is anything coming from the unfortunate demise of Albert Ojua, let it be that there will be an absolute complete overhaul of our systems as government operatives to see to it that we will no longer operate in a scenario whereby the boss is the servant and the servant is the boss. Let me leave it there unless there's a question.
There is a question. We have said that you have said that you hope let it this be a change. How do you feel? Do you feel like will it bring a change, or will just be like kama kawaida with the reform tunasema tuna reform but the reformation is not there?
This one is not ordinary. This one is not ordinary. And being a spiritual man, I think there is more to this than meets the eye in terms of there is a supernatural hand of God in my understanding that could be pushing the change that we have not been able to realize through the normal conventional way is coming through unconventional way. If I'll be able to cite the Bible references, is where God talks about using the weakest things to confront the strongest and the foolish things to confound the wise. Uh, we have pushed for police reforms and public service reforms for a long time, but with serious, no serious transformation. But with this particular happening, which we, of course, is sad that we had to lose a younger life like that of Albert uh, to necessitate the kind of moves that are taking place. So when you look at the civil society, look at the way CJ Maraga is talking, look at the way Kenyans and their spirited push for change. Remember when the agitation started that Langard should step aside, it was not in view. And you saw the IG defending him in the Senate and him looking immovable. But to see what has happened within 2 days. So I think the country and the mood in the country is ripe. And this death of Albert is not going to be in vain in terms of he may just succeed in causing the changes that we have not had for a long time through this unfortunate situation. So in my opinion, I don't think the government has even a chance to survive this, and that is why you can see those political moves that Ruto has given a phone call to the father of Albert. They has sent contribution. You saw the Homa Bay governor going to condole with the family and things like that. So there is panic because this could just spark of a revolution within the country. So I don't think even the government has much choice. It can't play hardball anymore, and it can't, ignore what the public is demanding. And so I don't think they will play those ordinary games. In fact, this is worse than the I would say worse than the Gen Z whatever revolution of the 25th of June last year, where Ruto gave the public commitment and those statements and then dismiss the cabinet and bring back everybody he dismissed and things like that. This one for Albert, I can see there will be more permanent and serious changes that the public will not whatever tolerate if they are reversed. For example, like the revelations that are coming out with the confession of Constable Mhwana and all that. So if by tomorrow morning or the day after, Ruto reinstated Lagat and says that he has done nothing wrong, this thing will begin afresh from where it was. And I think we will realize much more in this particular unfortunate situation than we have had through the usual processes. And so nobody who is keen spiritually and of course reading the mood in the country rightly will take this lightly. In the way you see then the body language of the government officials, they are realizing this is not normal. And with this, I'm sure we're going to realize much better changes than we have had for a long time.
Okay, thank you, Bernard. We'll speak about the changes, and the changes are there. Let us check out this for the changes before we continue. There's somebody saying that somebody's looking, doesn't understand what the changes that Bernard is saying. Let us check out this, and then Bernard will come in back. And I've seen Lala in the building. We still think the network is a problem, but Lala is still joining up very soon. There's some changes that the government said that made.
To restoring public trust in the police. Among the changes is the installation of more than 1,200 CCTVs across police stations nationwide within 2 years. This move comes after widespread outrage over the death of Albert Ojwang while in custody. Here's Odi Francis with the full story.
The death of 31-year-old teacher and activist Albert Ojwang in police custody at Central Police Station has sparked public outrage and renewed calls for justice. Disturbing discrepancies have emerged in police accounts of the incident, IPOA revealing that critical CCTV footage is missing from the station where Ojwang was held and reportedly died. The incident has prompted a strong response from Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen.
Incidents such as bodies being dumped in Yala River, the case of Indian nationals killed in a container at police station, cases of abductions, incarcerations, detention without trial, and recently the death of Mr. Albert Ojwang while in the hands of police, among others, must be punished by law, and those involved will soon be held accountable.
Murkomen has now announced sweeping reforms in the National Police Service. The changes include mandatory installation of CCTV in all 1,200 plus police stations within 2 years. Police commanders will be required to report any system failure within 1 hour. Occurrence books will be fully digitized. Officers will undergo annual training to enhance professionalism, and community policing will be expanded to strengthen trust between police and the public.
We shall be making proposals to Parliament to enact laws that criminalize tampering with CCTV cameras. The surveillance system shall be in the custody of the officer commanding station.
Murkomen also revealed that OCS officers and others in command will now be required to undergo annual training focused on constitutional standards and service delivery. Further, police operations will undergo regular independent audits to assess effectiveness and identify areas of improvement. The murder of Albert Ojwang comes 12 years after another notorious case where an OCS was found guilty of torturing Martin Koome to death in a police cell and was sentenced to hang. The latest reforms comes amid rising concerns over human rights violations and growing calls for accountability.
We shall roll out a digital reporting system. We shall make the respective budgetary adjustments to prioritize these reforms among other modernization strategies.
The big question now, will these reforms deliver real change on the ground? For now, eyes are on government and police to follow through. Ode Francis, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
That is the thing that is on the ground. Somebody is asking, will the government will deliver, or will it just be the noise like always? And because the eyes of the people are on the government and are waiting to hear what the government is saying so that they can react to it, or they can see if they are saying the truth or they are lying. Bernard, I would like to hear from you. I asked earlier, you said this one is another change that you are having hopes that it will bring a change and the government will do the adjustment. Also, the question remains, okay, even if the adjustment they are done there, for example, the death of Ojwang, we found that before the post-mortem, somebody said that one of the people where the police gave the report and saying that the CCTV was not connected. And after that one, later after post-mortem, now they came to say that the CCTV footage were deleted. So if it's the same thing will happen even if after installing the CCTV or will not happen.
I'm the one saying Murkomen is a joke. I think I'm almost agreeing with what Jacoya was saying. He is incompetent, inexperienced, and ineffective in his approach towards delivering the service to Kenyans. CCTV is just, an accessory. It cannot be a substitute for good policing, and we cannot have wrong people in the police force and expect the CCTV to stop them from doing their evil. So where Murkomen needs to invest most is in thorough training of the police and ensure that the police are operating within the provision of the constitution and the provision of the law. Planting for them CCTV in every police station will not change anything if we are still having the same rogue police or officers in place. And then, of course, the police system itself, when it is corrupt in the sense that you can use it as a tool to punish innocent people simply because you don't agree with them or because they have carried a story on you that you don't like to go public. And so I see what Burkomen is proposing as an excuse. You see the way he's saying he will put CCTV in that, were they 2,000 police station for 2 years? So will it be taking 3 months to put one CCTV? Or why would you need 2 years to put CCTV in the 2,000 police stations? What I see here is buying time.
Maybe they are connected to one server in Nairobi.
Which one server? It's
Maybe
all a
they
joke.
want to have the main server at a certain point so that the CCTV will be wireless. Even in Kisumu, you can monitor where you're in Nairobi. Maybe, or maybe there's another magic they want to do.
So the server is going to be drawn from the moon, or is going to be drawn from Pluto for it to arrive after 2 years. Is it coming from another planet? To put up a server system, does it take 2 years? These people are jokers. They don't know what they are doing, or they deliberately don't want to do the right thing. Probably they are looking for who to give the tender to. So that person has not been located. So they need 2 years to find the modalities of putting who is going to eat from this particular wherever so-called changes within the police service. The policing needs to be changed completely, and that change will come from, number one, not admitting everybody in policing. The way the recruitment takes place is it opens the door for everybody and anybody to get into the police force. Then those bad elements that get into the police service are the ones that bring about these rogue operations. And then we have people who have overstayed in the place. Others, you see, like for example, you see a police post, uh, that is aiding people to do crimes. What happens? Those police are never dismissed. You hear that they have been transferred from from Kakamega, they have gone to Marsabit. You transfer an evil man to a new place. You're just transferring that evil to the new place. And so, to me, what I see here is a joke and a not serious person. We need some serious approach towards making the police a service that people celebrate and a service that serves the people. And that begins by being keen on how these people, one, are trained, two, the people that have questionable character within the police force are weeded out. They are weeded out. Like Traore's approach when the army of Burkina Faso was having elements of those who are serving the France and then were collaborating with France to look for how to assassinate Traore and all the people who have of his like mind. What happened? He put his foot on the ground and said he's going to clean the army. And number one, he gave retirement to all the old guards, that had the mind that they cannot survive without France, they cannot survive without Western support. He gave them a limit for them to resign or take the package that they were supposed to be given. So you don't clean up a system by defending and protecting evil. Those games should come to an end. And so we need a cabinet secretary in the interior, wherever in the Ministry of Interior, who has, I would say, operatives like those of Matiang'i to some degree, but this time targeted directly to the police people themselves. The training of the police needs to be changed. The people offering that training need to be uh, transformed, and then the schooling for the police needs to be also all round, not just marching and saluting. There must be some thorough, training in people skills, training in human rights, wherever violations and the consequences thereof. So hiyo syllabus ya training ya polisi ati mnaenda 6 months kumarch na kupiga salute na kuvaa uniform na kufunga tie. I mean, that should not be the training. The training needs to train the person, that particular person, so that he has humanitarian approach towards his policing. He has an understanding of how human nature is, and his priority should be safeguarding lives, not destroying life, stepping on people's heads and throwing tear gas on people as if he's throwing stone in the farm where he's chasing away bats. So this awkward, backward, colonial way of training police need to be done away with. Let's have a police that is professional, a police that is admirable, that people want to join the police, and clean people want to join the police. Not to leave the police for the rogue people and people who are failures in life. So, in my understanding, Murkomen is a joke. He needs to. I think he was doing better in the Senate. You just go back to the politics. But him introducing any worthwhile change in the police that is going to benefit Kenyans, I don't see it. He's just playing politics.
Okay, Bernard, I appreciate for that contribution. Indeed, it's great. We're having a little bit network issues, but we're sorting it out. I think things will move on smoothly as we are moving on and on. Please, I want to welcome you. Come and join up so that we can have this great conversation together and have this discussion together. But before we continue, I want to take you to madukani kidogo, tukirejea na uhondo zaidi and many more other that has been raising up through the day. So let us go for the shops. We are coming back shortly.
Marriage is one of life's most monumental decisions. It's not just about the wedding day or the ring. It's about committing your heart, mind, and soul to a lifelong partnership. But here's the big question. Are you really ready? Introducing Are You Marriage Ready? By Bernard Ngozi, a transformative ebook designed to guide you in building a successful and fulfilling union. This essential resource delves deep into personal growth, compatibility assessment, and the true meaning of marriage beyond the fairy tale. Learn how to reflect on your values, develop emotional resilience, and evaluate your relationship to ensure compatibility. This book opened my eyes to areas I needed to work on and helped me see my relationship in a new light. Jessica M. Available now for just $5, Are You Marriage Ready? Is accessible on all major platforms. Don't miss this opportunity to prepare yourself for one of life's most beautiful journeys. Follow the link in the description below to download your copy now. Empower your future. Embrace a fulfilling marriage now.
Thank you and welcome back for this great evening and that great moment. We're having a great conversation. So please, I consider you, if the first time coming across the channel, please consider subscribing, consider sharing the views, and share the live so that everyone can be able to get the information. And if you want to join being a member of Sound Candy Talk, use the details on the description or click the joining button so that you can be a member of Sound Candy Talk. Come, let us have the conversation together. Let's continue moving on together. And as even we are still moving on together, I will want to urge you, please, let us support Sound Candy Talk using the details on the screen. Let us support it so that they can be able to run every other podcast and every other all the open shows that are be heading higher. You can use the numbers on the screen, which is the till number for those one Kenya for Team TikTok. We're using the till number, which is 516575. I will clip the number for the team TikTokers. We say 516575. And for those who are using the M-Pesa number is +254 718 454 585. And it will be good. The name is Bernard Makoha. The way it's just on the screen. Use it so that we can have support Sound Candy Talk as even they are moving on and on to bring up new and other advanced news for you. And if you are having a product and want to be promoted too, you can use the same numbers that's coming on the screen. Contact us and then we'll get to you and know how we can work it out as even we are moving on swiftly and greatly. Thank you for those who are still joining up. Please welcome somebody. Bernard, I think we are back now. I would like to ask another question as we are moving on to the second part of the show. Question that people are asking, many people are still doubting, but we are still having the hopes that this will take another chance or will take another dimension, more than what people expect or more than what people knows. So we expect more. Our heart is so expectant, and even every Kenyans are very expectant to know more and more and more. We have seen the story about them speaking about that bringing the LBO on a digital form, bringing other stuff, 456 stuffs on the digital platforms or on the digital way. Okay. Do you feel like that's how efficient is it to our nation so that they can make it that the police service, for example, like the OB book, should become digitalized? How sure are you with that? How long will that take to come to pass? And also, or do you think that our government will be able to sustain that? Or do you think we do have enough information from the teachers or from the other people outside or who can make this to sustain?
I would say the internet infrastructure in Kenya particularly is higher, and it has capacity to run what needs to be run. I'm just going to cite the example of the judiciary, which made giant steps under Maraga, and it began under Mutunga. Right now, the judiciary can conduct hearings online, meaning the lawyers joining and the judge or whatever is able to preside over the case, uh, everything online. The lawyer could be in Kakamega, the complainant is Nairobi, and the judge is sitting at Milimani, but the people, the witnesses, and the other people are joining online, and that is working effective. So, if the judiciary is able to do that, what is an OB book? OB book is light. I mean, even if we have how many reports in the OB per day, I don't think we need a gigantic infrastructure to get that done. We just need to do simple networking, and probably the huge part will go into the aspect of securing the system. But from where I see the issue of digitizing the OB book should not take ages. Should not take ages, except somebody's looking for how to get his cousin and his wherever angle to be the provider of the system, like the one they bought from Shah. For Shah, the one that he bought for was it 1.2 whatever billion for that particular system. So in my look of things, that thing can be secured within, I mean, the shortest time possible, a month or 2 months. That should be up and running. All we need to do is what Ruto was talking about. Aweke internet kila mahali. So internet alikuwa anataka kuweka kwa soko na kuna internet kwa police station. Hakuna stima kwa police station. Hakuna nini. Those are the things that needs to be accompanying that particular aspect of what a digitized system of the OB book. So without much demanding more investment in the same. If there is a will and there is a careful approach towards this, I see this can be done within the shortest time possible. And the only thing that may pose as a challenge is what I've said. Have they secured availability of electricity in every police station? Have they secured availability of internet continuously in the police station? Then, if that is done, that is plug and play. So it should not take forever. It is an idea that is overdue. Right now, look at the way the education system is working, the CBC and otherwise. Teachers are filing their wherever they are, the students' assessment marks, wherever marks and their performance online. Now, how many schools do we have in this country? How many students do we have in this country? So, if the teaching fraternity is able to sustain all the whatever the millions number of pupils that we have in this country, how many police stations do we have that will be causing traffic in the name of we are uploading an OB, ati mtu ameiba kuku, mwingine akatoroka na kijiko, mwingine naye akapigwa na wife. Hizo vitu zingine ni kuudhi tu, kwa sababu hapa ni mchezo watu wanacheza. Murkomen alikuwa anatafuta kitu ya kuambia Wakenya akakosa, ndio akakuja na hizi story yote. Hata hahitaji kuannounce, ni kuketi chini na huyo Mondi PS wake na waweke hiyo policy, then they look for the implementation of it. It's not something that needs to be announced to Kenyans. It's being announced because they want to appear doing something, but in actual facts, they're not doing anything. They're just, I think they are busy bodies, to say the least. We need an administration that is serious, especially on matters security, on matters education, and matters healthcare. You don't joke with those particular three important dockets. But look at what Ruto is doing with his administration. He is putting jokers in those particular dockets. So what do you expect? So the pretense that the system needs to be done this and this, so it will take time. It will take 2 years. It doesn't need 2 years. It doesn't need even 6 months. If there is a will, there is a way, and that thing can be done within the shortest time possible. 3 months is too much for any person who is willing to do the required changes. Are police officers able to run that kind of a system? They can. Everybody can be taught computers. It's simple. And then not everybody in the police force is a D student or a D minus student. Nowadays there is a policing, and there is also what we are calling what a professionalism, where I am an accountant, but I want to be part of the army, so I joined the army as an accountant, or join the army as a lawyer, join the army as having another profession. So we can get the people to ensure that the people in charge of police stations are taken through we call it in-service training, where they are guided on what to do. Just like when we change systems, we must also be able to change the people that are running that particular system and make them competent. And so I don't see it to be a lengthy thing. It's just something that needs action, and that action needs to be serious enough to be accompanied by required resources. Another thing about change in this country is that we cause changes that are not sustainable, in the sense that now that Albert has died in police cell, and now everybody's in panic mode, and now we begin to promise this and that, but we don't have that will of sustaining the change that we are introducing. So, like in the past, we used to have when Goromaya and the FC Leopards were something in this city when they went to play. And so there was a time when they introduced that there is a ticket machine, okay, where you put in the money, then they give you the ticket. And so the people went to the stadium and said the machine is taking long to produce the ticket. So what did they do? They uprooted the machine. So what I'm saying is that we can introduce that digital OB, and there are people who don't want it. So what will they do? They will go and wherever mess with the system so that they can revert back to what? To the manual system. Look what has happened with the Uhuru attempt to transform the Matatu sector from being cash oriented to cashless. You saw that happening during COVID and all that. I think there were about 3-4 efforts to make sure that Matatu operates on cashless system. What happened? The forces that don't want to change moved in and it said what it is not possible to go cashless. And so even after putting up the system, we must have a backup approach whereby we will sustain that system, midwife it, and make sure that it is you know um, it is run in such a way that it will be able to phase out the manual and then bring in the digital, and that digital will be sustained. Not that we will run it for 3 weeks and then we say it has collapsed. Let's everybody go back to paper and pen. I ain't it there, unless there's a follow-up question.
Ongea mengi naona comment section hii inasema maneno hapa. We just continue sharing our views too. Because of this story, this man decided to resign up, and then he said he's not resigning permanent, resigning for quite while until the case is done. I would like to hear from Bernard if it's the right way to do, but let us first watch the statement, or let us watch the clip, then we will comment on it.
Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat, who has been adversely mentioned in the arrest and death of blogger Albert Ojwang, has bowed to pressure and stepped aside to pave way for investigations. His resignation comes following intense pressure from the public, the opposition, and the human rights bodies that demanded for his arrest and prosecution. Steve Leto has more.
Few minutes after Interior Cabinet Secretary Kipchumba Murkomen issued a detailed statement on police reforms partly triggered by the death of blogger Albert Ojwang in police hands, DIG Eliud Lagat bowed to pressure and stepped aside to pave way for investigations. Lagat says his move was in good and conscious thought of his role and responsibilities, citing the ongoing investigations into Ojwang's death as the reasons for temporarily vacating office. Lagat in his statement termed Ojwang's death as an unfortunate incident and will be out of office until the completion of the ongoing investigations. The move by Lagat became apparent when the Interior Cabinet Secretary earlier hinted to the possibility by saying the police DIG is well conversant with the law of investigations and necessary steps that needs to be taken by suspects and those adversely mentioned.
DIG Lagat is a seasoned police officer who understands what it takes to carry out matters of investigations and where or whether or not his conduct or act or position can affect that investigations.
In his statement, Lagat ends by noting, and I quote, "I undertake to provide any support that may be required of me during investigations of the unfortunate incident. I offer immense condolences to the family of Mr. Albert Ojwang for their great loss." End quote.
Lagat must go! Lagat must go!
Pressure has been mounting with human rights bodies, the Law Society of Kenya, sections of religious leaders and protesters who took onto the streets on Budget Day demanding for Lagat's resignation, arrest and prosecution.
The investigations, as I've already said earlier, are going on with IPOA. IPOA is doing its part in terms of investigations.
Inspector General of Police Douglas Kanja told senators last week that Ojwang was arrested after Lagat filed a formal complaint with the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, a move that has now placed him at the center of the probe. Stephen Leto, Citizen TV.
That's what's cooking, or that's what's going on. This is so serious. Bernard, you hear that? I thought also, I think you got it earlier before we release you. I've lost Bernard, but I hope Bernard is coming back. So we are moving on swiftly. I want to welcome you. Please tell me your views too, and tell me your opinions too, because they matter too. And they are, to me, they are also concerned too, because I want to hear from your side too. Still, we are still moving on swiftly because we are still having a lot more. The Bernard is back. Bernard, I think we have heard that. What's your opinion about it?
This is another joke. This is another joke that we are being treated to as Kenyans. Listening to Koome is he sounds like an advisor. my friend personally says that retired school teachers they go to the village to preside over dowry negotiation. And listening to Koome is like that negotiator of dowry. He is the minister, okay? The DIG is somebody in his docket. If his conduct is in question in public, the DIG needs to be fired. He's not supposed to be stepping aside and giving conditions that he's only stepping aside for a while until investigations are done, and then he will come back. He's coming back to who? I mean, we need to be serious in this country and treat public servants as public servants. Public servants in the sense that you are in that office because the public trusts you. Now that the public doesn't trust you, the public doesn't feel safe with you, who are you to begin to say that you're only stepping aside for a while and come back? Let your employer determine whether you're coming back or not. Let your employer, which is the public, okay, be okay with you in the office. And if they are not okay with you in the office, kanyaga, kubu ukienda. You have given your service, yes, but there is no wherever guarantee or demand that you have to be in that office all through. And so the adverse mention of the DIG in this matter is sufficient for him to resign completely, not even stepping aside. He should just resign and get somebody else to look into this. He has served in different capacities. He will have the I think the citizen gave us the history of his operation. He joined the police force in '98. He's been around. This is almost 40 years. So what is he fighting I mean, fighting to go and cause to happen in the police that he has not been able to do these 40 years he's been in the police force? In my opinion, we need something serious. We need some biting. If he cannot be dismissed, he should. If he cannot be fired, I don't know why he cannot be fired. I don't think there is any law against him being fired. But the aspect of stepping aside to come back is not for him to decide. Let the people decide. Let the public decide, and then the minister needs also to address the public with the required knowledge, not for him to say that the person knows whether he's guilty or not, or he knows when to step aside and when not to step aside. We need to have a decisive government, a decisive authoritative leadership, whereby this one is too obvious, this one is too much tainting the government. So for us to rescue the image of the government and rescue the trust of the public into the government, so and so must go, and let the person go. So this dildaling of trying to recycle people and trying to protect evil in the name that there are specific people who cannot go and others should go. No. So the same way Koome went, let Lagat go. The same way who else, the predecessor Kinoti went, let this one also what go. There are many people that can serve in that capacity, and without necessarily demanding that he goes because he's of this tribe or that tribe. The moment is like what Muhwana is sharing, and he gave the orders, and the orders were carried out, and things went beyond what they expected. That is enough for somebody to go completely. So I don't expect Lagat to come back in that office, and if he does, and then we'll know it was only a political gimmick that wanted to keep people off the street. Then thereafter, they will bring back whoever they want to bring back. But that is wrong altogether. Let people take responsibility, and we talk about public court, or the court of public opinion. If the public is not happy with your service, don't force them that you're the one to serve them. If we are not comfortable with you cooking for us, we suspect you can poison our food. You cannot say you must continue being our cook. No, we are the consumer of the food. So if you are not comfortable, tuachie jikoni, sisi tuende kutafuta mpishi ambaye tunaamini. Usitulazimishe kwamba wewe lazima utupikie. So kwangu mimi, Lagat should go, and let's find somebody who is trusted by the public to serve in that capacity. And that should serve as an example for every other person in public office. In fact, Murkomen should join Lagat in going. I rest my case there. Thank you.
Thank you, Bernard. I'll see Lala in the building. Lala, how are you?
Shadizo, I'm well. It's good to see you and to hear Bernard and Wenzetu in the background. I'm Jambo. Dio. Let me just comment on what Bernard just commented on. I think a normal practice worldwide when it comes to a functioning democracy, where there are legal, framework and laid down clearly, is for someone like Lagat to step aside immediately before even asked to leave, because you don't want to appear as if you're interfering. If you know your conscience is clear, step aside, and the truth shall set you free. I think we cite that phrase all the time. Yeah, you shall know the truth, and truth shall set you free. The truth will set you free. So when you want to stick around in the office, or when some people feel like you should stay on, when actually you have been mentioned, in fact, the whole saga originates with him. Okay, whether you are clean or not clean, you step aside. And for what we are seeing today, let me say this: Kenyans, we are taken for a ride. There is no functional system that allows someone that adversely, somebody mentioned in a criminal situation, to stay on. Why would he stay on unless he's trying to interfere? So it makes even those who are trying to so-called investigate and all that, they look silly. They look like they're all working very hard to make sure that this person is not prosecuted. So it's almost where would anybody get any justice if we let Lagat stay and we let Talam stay? Okay, but because we have laws, let the law itself set you free. People have been framed. That's true. Things happen where you think somebody did, but they did not do it. That's why you step aside and you bring somebody who is neutral to look at those facts. And we thought our justice system would be the one that is neutral. We thought our executive, we are good people who are adult in the room, who could be, but it seems up to this point, you look at IPOA, you look at the police, you look at DCI, you look at all these people are kind of not, either they are so much afraid to do what is right, or they are part of the, part of the cover up. So to me, I agree with Bernard that Lagat has to step aside. If he thinks it's clean or not clean, he has to step aside. And the people that have been grieved the greatest, of course, is us, we the people, because we believed in a system that we call democratic, that we call rule of law, that we call a great judiciary or whatever, constitution. But now what we see is not exactly what we had in mind. And so somebody like Lagat not stepping aside, to me, I have issues with the minister, with the president, and those above, because it is in their best interest to do something. But when they can't do something, then they have to go. They got to go. We are not talking about whether it's right or wrong. It's we got to be. You see, sometimes the perception is everything. Okay, because if you don't want to step aside, then the perception is that you're hiding something. Okay, so Lagat, whoever is advising him, if he thinks he's innocent, because from our perspective, we think is actually is the fulcrum, is the one that hold the whole thing together. And so no one really should defend him. Okay, he should be just advised. If there's nothing, step aside, unless the facts speak for themselves. But up to this time, up to this moment, I think even IG should go, because he's proven to be so incompetent. Okay, if there's independence of the IG, in other words, is answerable to the constitution, the people of Kenya, then he has failed us totally. Okay, the minister himself, okay, the minister himself should have addressed this issue And if he can't do it, he will turn it over to the president to take care of it. Has he done anything? All he's doing is meandering around, and he's supposed to be a lawyer. So Kenyans are being taken for fools. Clearly, these people cannot deliver anything because they have been contaminated. When actually a situation like this could have been easily taken care of, very, very easily. It's like a criminal, somebody has died. They go through ABC of investigation and bring them to justice, and then follow up if there are other people that are involved with conspiracy and cartel and all that. Then we bring them, to. But now all they've done is allow people to speculate. Okay, and speculation is so bad because people come up a bit of their reality. So we don't know what happened, but we know something did happen. Okay, and we know who are the players. Okay, so at the end of the day, wameingia yuko mad wote, even though there's maybe one or two people who may have, been there, caught in there, with the proper investigation, those elements would have come out and unraveled this case very, very quickly. But up to this point, my sense is people are scared because there's a cartel in the system. You can't convince me that that this is something that I can trust. No one now trusts the system. Why would I trust when a man gives his son, surrenders his son to the place where they're supposed to be safe, and then next thing is a corpse, and then lies over lies and over, you don't know what's going on here. So kwangu Chadizo, nimekubaliana na Bernard that this man has to step aside. But now the question may not even rest with him. Somebody higher than him who should be able to do that. It's now beyond that because it should have been told no, and somebody should have acted. And who is he that's supposed to act? The minister can't do it because he feels I don't know what's wrong with him. The president is silent and quiet. So where do we go from here? So wananchi, we can't relent. We must tell this guy to step aside or to be arrested. He has to be probably right now. He need to be arrested, and because the arrest would force him to act or to do something, and then we can be able to know the truth. So that's my take. I think being conversant, I know Talam seems to be trying to defend himself, but I think this thing is big and wider because I don't think Talam would have acted on his own. When I'm hearing something like teach this man a lesson, that's now beyond Talam. Okay, his name is Talam. Okay, that's beyond him. Why would he single out, a young man who has just been picked from home to hire the people to deal with him? Why would he do that unless he got protecting someone? Okay, so here is even now thicker than before. It's more darker than before. That there's a conspiracy. There's a cartel in here. I don't think we need to have this system. It has to be overhauled. This has to be an overhaul of the system. That's when we can begin to have a little trust. And I think Natembeya also mentioned the things they do to prisoners. And then begin to wonder, even those who went to Tanzania down there, were they Kenyan police or something like that to do the things that they did to that young man there and the Ugandan lady? Because you see, from when you listen, when you're keen, then you realize this is a systematic. Okay, this is something that is not just one time, and it is something that they do to people. You go to those cells, you're taken, abducted, ran around, and your story, is kept. And I pray that one of these days there would be some among them, some psychologists, some reverends, some others in a committee to bring some of these people that have been abducted to share their story, because this is a horror. This is like a horror movie. So I think this must be a beginning. Ojwang's blood has to be a beginning of Kenyans finding out what has been going on. It seems as if the Nyayo chambers never stopped. They just reorganized themselves. And even Miguna, the beating and all that, those are the same elements as there. But beat him up and all that. So this is something which is bad. It's going on. And and I think I agree with Natembea. It takes the death of Ojwang, to bring this thing out. If Ojwang did not die, this thing would be going on. So Kenyans must demand that this person is brought to books, and it doesn't stop there. The entire system need to be cleansed. It need to be recommissioned system, prayers done, all those cells sanctified and prayed over, all those systems, and overhaul is needed, because I don't trust my son to be arrested with my daughter, that they're going to be safe. You want to know how many women are being raped? You want to know how many men have been sodomized? Because when you hear the story from Kenyan cell, it's chilling. And Wananchi, Gen Z and the rest, this country, unless you defend it, you will not have it. My generation will have destroyed it completely for you, because what we are hearing, what we are seeing is not normal. It's demonic. It's inhuman. It's bad. Back to you, Chadizo.
Thank you, Lala. No, I think for those who have been joining up, I really appreciate for those things. I'm having a trouble a little bit, but I think we'll sort it. With the internet a little bit, it's dragging so much, and it's like I'm battling with the internet, but we'll sort it out. But I want to take you to the street. Let us go to the street, and let us hear from the street and from the other people from the street as we are moving on swiftly.
Coming atop Bensu's, little is known on the rise of DIG Lagat, who began his career as a mechanic before becoming a top police cop. Ayuba Abdikadir looks at the profile of one of Kenya's top cops, whose career now hangs in the balance in one of the country's high-profile murders.
Eliud Lagat, a career cop, began his spell with the National Police Service in 1998. Joining the service after completing training at the Kenya Police College in Kiganjo. A career that saw him serve in different roles before becoming the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Kenya Police Service. Before the brutal murder of Albert Ojwang staining his career, Lagat served in various capacities, including Deputy Head of Crime Scene Support Unit, the head of Investigation Bureau, and later as the head of Bomb and Hazardous Material Unit. 2 years after joining the service, he became an inspector of police attached to the Bomb Disposal Unit, housed at the Criminal Investigations Department, now the Directorate of Criminal Investigations. Between 2001 and 2005, he was forensic investigator still attached to the DCI headquarters. However, in 2020, he was named the Deputy Director, DCI Reform Section. 2 years later, in 2022, he was named the Director, Investigations Bureau, a position he held until April 2023, when he was named the Commandant of the General Service Unit, an elite unit within the National Police Service. Lagat rose to his current role in 2024, replacing Douglas Kanja after he was promoted as the Inspector General. Mandated to oversee the day-to-day administration and operations of the Kenya Police Service, overseeing coordination, supervision, training and internal oversight within the unit. He was among the candidates shortlisted to succeed George Kinoti after his sacking by President William Ruto
over runaway extrajudicial killings and enforced disappearances of Kenyans. He holds a master's degree in armed conflict and peace studies from the University of Nairobi and a Bachelor of Technology in Automotive from University of Eastern Africa, Baraton, in Nandi County. Ayub Abdikadir, Citizen TV.
Now, Police James Mukhwana, currently in custody over the killing of blogger Albert Ojwang, has broken his silence, revealing chilling details about what transpired on the night of June 7, 2025, while Ojwang was held at the Central Police Station. In a damning statement recorded before the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, Mukhwana has directly implicated OCS Samson Talam, claiming that he acted on instructions issued from the Deputy Inspector General Eliud Lagat. According to Mukhwana, he was ordered to discipline Ojwang once he was brought in. This is his second statement to IPOA, having recanted an earlier version in which he claims he and fellow officers conspired to conceal the truth. And as Ben Kurino reports, through his lawyers, the officer is seeking protection.
A blow-by-blow account exclusively in our possession now sheds a new light on what could be the events of the night of June 7th, 2025. The night blogger and teacher Albert Ojwang died while in custody at the Central Police Station. The damning statement, recorded by detained police constable James Mukhwana, directly implicates the officer commanding station OCS Samson Talam, alleging that he issued instructions to discipline Ojwang. Orders Mukhwana claims originated from Deputy Inspector General of Police Eliud Lagat. This comes despite OCS Talam having publicly distanced himself from the murder allegations. In his detailed statement to investigators from the Independent Policing Oversight Authority IPOA, Mukhwana narrates being summoned to the OCS's office during his shift. He was allegedly told, and I quote, "There is a directive from DIG Lagat. Do you know him? There are officers from the DCI headquarters bringing a suspect here at 8 p.m. Tell the inmates to discipline him a bit." When Mukhwana raised concerns about what could go wrong, he says he was warned against questioning orders as a junior officer and told bluntly that disobedience could cost him. Later that night at around 9 p.m., a black Subaru pulled up at the station. Inside was a man in handcuffs, later identified as Albert Ojwang. Mukhwana says he called OCS Talam, who confirmed that Ojwang was the suspect in question. Ojwang was booked into custody at around 9:20 p.m. and shortly after, the assault began inside the last cell opposite the toilets. Mukhwana states that 4 inmates, Collins Ireri, Jill Amiton, Brian Mwaniki and Eric Ndambuki, were instructed to carry out the beatings after they were given 2,000 shillings to buy alcohol. As the beatings escalated, Mukhwana claims he and another officer, Police Constable Kemani, rushed in to stop the torture. Ojwang was found bleeding, leaning against the wall. Mukhwana says he immediately asked the Deputy OCS Samuel Nganga to take Ojwang to hospital. It was around 10 p.m. when he left for home. The following day, on June 8th, he began receiving numerous calls from colleagues asking if he had heard what had happened to Ojwang. When he reached out to Nganga for clarity, he was advised to call the OCS. OCS Talam reportedly brushed off his concerns, telling him things were not bad and that they were safe. But by June 11th, Mukhwana had been summoned by IPOA to record a formal statement. He admits that in his initial testimony, he withheld the truth as part of a pact among the officers to cover up for one another. However, he later discovered he was being made a scapegoat by his colleagues. Haunted by guilt, Mukhwana says he returned to IPOA on June 12th and asked to record a second truthful statement. He was arrested and taken to Capitol Hill Police Station, where his second statement was taken. Mukhwana says Ojwang was not meant to be killed, but to be disciplined as per instruction of the OCS Talam. Through his lawyers, Mukhwana has now requested placement under witness protection, stating he is ready to tell the whole truth. Mukhwana's legal team says they won't be seeking his release on bail, citing concerns over his personal safety. The lawyers claim they have been trailed and intimidated by individuals believed to be police officers, and a formal complaint has been lodged at the Capitol Hill Police Station. Ben Kirui, Citizen TV, Nairobi.
This is what
Serious CS Kipchumba Murkomen says.
Moving on and on, and this is what is cooking. There are a lot of things that are happening very fast. I think you're having a problem a little bit, but I will listen to you before we sum up. Let me listen to Bernard. Bernard, what do you speak about this?
This confirms what Natembea said yesterday. Remember Natembea's experience with Ngeno, the member of parliament, was arrested and put in police custody, and then he was a commissioner, whatever regional commissioner, and then so he was talking of while he was in police custody, this member of parliament, there are some inmates that were brought in that were supposed to torture him at night. So they had to come up with a way of rescuing this member of parliament and transferring him to Nakuru. So it is true from those two witnesses, I mean, two accounts, on Natembea as a former uh, commissioner of police, whatever commissioner in the government, and what transpired outside the system. Outside the system, meaning, uh, so Albert was booked in formally, brought in by the DCI formally, then behind the scenes, there are this now prearranged arrangement of bringing in some inmates to torture the victim. No, now to torture the victim in the name of teaching him a lesson. And this is so bad that the DIG, the Deputy Inspector General, is able to fuel the vehicle, send police officers all the way to Homa Bay, bring the victim, only for him to be taught a lesson at Central Police Station. This is unforgivable. And that's why I'm saying the man should not be talking about, I'm stepping aside for a while, I'm coming back. The man should just go completely. Even if he has not done this, from it's being mentioned to have participated, or rather to have been able to entertain that thought, that scheming, and gave those orders, he should just go completely. And so, if Murkomen cannot fire him, the president cannot fire him, let public fire Mr. Lagat. This is not how things are done. Now, see what the lesson he has he brought Albert to teach. It has resulted into Albert's death. Has he now succeeded as a teacher or the disciplinary that he claims to be? So this ought not to be the case. We shouldn't have any underhand and any beside the requirements of the constitution or extra constitutional means of dealing with suspects in police custody. Let's have people secure and safe wherever they are. Let them answer for their crimes in the due process, in the constitutional way, not for them to have this extra constitutional means of so-called disciplining people. And then, if a story that is published about you is not true, it may have defamed you. There is how to deal with that. You don't have to go and collect somebody from the safety of his home, bring him to the police cells, only for the person to die in the hands of people who are not even supposed to be inducing that discipline. If there was any disciplinary measures that were needed to be done uh, on Albert, it is not in the powers of the DIG to give. The only people that are supposed to give the punishment to Albert is the courts. Mm? Let Albert be taken to court, let his case be heard, and the judge is going to give the ruling. Having used the name of the DIG wrongly, defamed him, and these are the consequences. So when the DIG and the other rogue police officers are now acting as the complainant, the prosecutor, and the judge in this case, it smells bad, it's all wrong, and that is the very ground upon which the DIG should go completely because he has not honored he has not respected the constitution. He's in a constitutional office, but he seems not to have respect for the constitution, and he's acting outside the provision of the constitution. For that alone, he needs to go like he's gone. We should not be looking for how to exonerate him. And like I said, public offices are not supposed to be held by individuals without the trust of the public. The moment the public is raising questions on you, it is time to go. And so, not only that, I support Maraga's approach. Let them be arrested, let them be prosecuted, and let them answer for this crime. Let not this go like they are trying to put it a mistake, or we did not intend to kill, or all that. Those excuses should not be entertained. Let all the participants into this, and those that condoned, and those that attempted to cover up the crime, all of them, let them be arrested, arraigned in the court of law, and pay for their ills that they have so much tainted the name of this country and the respect of the Kenyan people in the eye of the rest of the world. We cannot be having this reported anywhere that a senior person like Deputy Inspector General is the one going to collect a 31-year-old young man who has just started out life to go and discipline him. In the process, the person dies. And then you're coming to give us stories that you're stepping aside for a short while, you will come back. This ought not to happen. Thank you. And so that account is clear. That account is clear. It's showing clearly on what happens. And if this is what happens in our police cells, it is a sad, sad, sad reality. Thank you. Lala, you can add on that. It appears Shadrach is having issues with the net.
Bernard, I'm with you there completely. I think the way we have handled such matters, I think these people have been emboldened to do things as if it is their own. Just look at the way they handle the whole thing. Go collect this young man. You know, it's like they are the outlaws. Okay, they do anything they want. It's nothing you can do to them. And I think that if Kenyans don't handle this correctly, I think the potential for destruction of our system beyond repair is most likely going to happen, because we have a generation that will not tolerate this. They will not. They don't want to go on the way things are going on. So to me, Talam seemed to have been carrying out somebody else's favor. Okay, so he goes to hire somebody else to do the job. Okay, so this is a well orchestrated. Okay, from the people who went to pick, you know, Ojuan. And now let me just interject or inject a little bit some possibilities. Could it be that this is the way leadership promotion is gained within the police force? Simu Kwana is told to go and do, or else he's going to be threatened. So now that he did a job, if the young man did not die, Mukwana was going to get a promotion. Talam is going to get a higher promotion because he's carried out what is required. So you can see a systematic, thing here. So we may even question the way the police do their promotions. Are they really on merit, or this dirty thing that we hear them do? Okay, so that young woman, removing that the scarf that was on that man. That man, if you don't know who he is, and so what would happen is like people like Talam, like Langat, would sit there watching the kind of job they're doing, beating people up, then they get promotion. And that's why if somebody doesn't like what I'm saying, but you've given us every reason to suspect how this system has been working, what has really been going on over the years. Okay, because this is not an isolated thing. We've known what these people do. So let it be a warning to our police officers not to do anything wrong, no matter who asks you to do them. Here's a Mukwana, perhaps promised a promotion. So he's saying, let me go hire a few people to rough this young man up, okay? And he may not be in the loop, but look at what he did. He went in, did what he was told, and so this is a time for every police officer. What you are told, question it. Is it legal? Is it in compliance with your job description? Or you are doing it because somebody told you? But I know it has been, that's the way to get ahead, is to hurt fellow Kenyans, and it is sickening, it's despicable. And to me, I think that our system must go. I know, because I was a victim of police brutality years back, beaten in the beach because I went to celebrate, high school. After finishing my high school, going to high school, going to national schools, I was so excited. And my cousins, they beat us. They came and beat us brutally. Okay. But God is also sees. The policeman who beat me died very quickly after that. Okay. He was in Nyali police station, died very quickly. But I thought with the new constitution, things had changed. Excitement that we have a new constitution, a new way people are thinking. We used to blame the old police officers because they were not educated. Okay, that's what we used to say. These people never went to school. Now we have those who have gone to school. Is it better? Perhaps worse. Actually, the old police, colonial police, I believe they were better. Why do I say so? I say so because most of those old police officers came from a culture, African culture, where you respect your elders, where you're part of a community. If you are bad, you'll not be respected in your community. So when they got into the police force, they still had some little of African tradition in them, respect in them. So they respected people. My own grandfather was one of those policemen, and he would tell us that the modern police or the current police do not know how to handle people. Okay, and now I believe him, because what we are seeing are people who don't have any respect for tradition. They have another idea of promotion. They don't care what they do to get up there. So they are told by Lagat and other side to do things to people. And let me say, this is something that has gone on for a long, long, long time. But now this one is the mother of them all. And Kenyans must do something so that we can have a nation of laws and save our nation. I think Shadizo Amen.
No,
Okay.
is fighting to get back. But,
Okay, ni sawa. Ndani kusema kwa Kiswahili wenzangu wa Kenya, shida ambayo tuko nao ni wale wamejifanya wamesoma, hata sijui wamesoma namna gani. I had the credentials of huyo jamaa Lagat, and you don't expect somebody with a master's degree to act the way he's acting. Okay? And Talama, I'm sure pia amesoma. And Mukwana and the rest of that bunch wamesoma to an extent. And vile wanafanya ni kama watu hawakusoma kabisa, ni pepo chafu inawasumbua. Na Wakenya wenzangu, lazima, let's not rest. yani watu wetu wanauawa, wanakuwa mishandled, na tunanyamaza tu, tunafunga masikio na macho na tunasema hiyo imepita. To me, Lagat hata akitoka, the law should follow him, not just him plus others. Nothing to do with the tribe, nothing to do with if it is me, come for me. All of us should be under the law, including Ruto and Mohamed. Okay, we give them responsibility of running on the nation on our behalf, running the government on our behalf, and they are failing us totally. So they should also go. To me, I think, as I've stated, yani lazima tuwe na keni mambo ianzishwe upya, watu wakaguliwe na lazima wakiri dhambi na vitu ambavyo vimefanya ubaya kwa watu, ili wasamehewe ndio waendelee. Manake vile tumefika, itakuwa ngumu sana kuwa na uaminifu, watu wanaamini polisi ama institutions, any institution, and they are corrupting all the institutions, and now the teachers, nikiona wamegoma, they are protesting wamegoma, lakini they are protesting, and I think they should, and I think we should join them, because this is an attack on teachers. Here's a young man who is doing a noble job, and look at how they have handled him. And I'm glad that teachers are seeing it as is us. Or Juang was one of us. We must stand. Pupils too should support, because these are the people who teach, who are, mold our future. And attack on one is attack on all of us, all of the teachers and all of the students. So Bernard, hapo ndipo nimekubaliana wewe, na ni lazima huyo jamaa step aside. Hiyo lazima kabisa. Na wengi hapo. I don't even know how Kanja will go on from here. I'm not accusing him of anything, but the way he's been handling the thing is like wishy-washy. It's like he doesn't know what he's doing. It's not even, it's like he's working for Lagat. I mean, that's how my perception, based on what you're hearing, based on lies, and my assumption was, before you go and brief a nation, you sit down, look at the CCTV which are available, demand. That's what leadership is all about. You demand, you want to see what it goes into, your report. It has to be clear, but clearly these people, either they're so dumb, not to really ask questions, because when they're presenting their case, it's as if everything is fine, making us believe that in fact they almost incriminated Ojwang. Okay, they go out there, they know they have killed him, they're saying, oh, he did this, and what did he do? He pointed, someone is corrupt. All need to be done to figure out, are they corrupt? Do a lifetime audit, figure out what's going on, if that is a fact in there. Okay, so let this crop of leadership leave. Let them all leave, so that we have a group that know what they're doing, that can respond to the people. And it was I think it was very embarrassing seeing what we saw. But thank God for even some of you that have been standing out, those who are calling out evil, because there are a lot who are kind of, I don't know, they're scared. In one of the presentation, I think is in Parliament, and the chair of the committee, I don't know who he is, that MP, you could see as if he's trying to moderate in the middle, but he was going on the side of giving the government benefit of a doubt, the DCI, when actually it's been called there to clear the air. But here is, I think Rosa Buyu was trying to point a legitimate issue, and then you see even within the MPs, they as if they don't know their job. I know you have to moderate, but a very important question that that woman was raising should have been followed, because now she's being vindicated. You know, why stop her from asking questions because you're trying to appease the executive, or you appease the DCI? And this is some of the things that is making wananchi wanasikia vibaya. Manake wale ambao should be speaking for them, like MPs inquiring, you know, some of them do a better job, others don't. Other they're scared of really pointing a finger at what is really going on. And wananchi are watching. Asante, back to you Bernard, and ni wewe sasa ndio utakuwa.
Okay. So thank you, Lala. Agree with you 100%. And it is regrettable that this is what we are being treated to as a nation with the current administration. This ought not to be happening. Maybe to look also on the flip side from that account of Mwana, talking of when he had noises when the inmates were attacking Albert, he went to intercept, and Albert was bleeding, and that was 10 p.m. And when he was signing out, he now gives instructions to the deputy OCS to take Albert to hospital. If that truly happened, to me, it shows how even that Mwana is neglecting responsibility. Responsibility in the sense that this thing is happening outside the law, and it has gone bad. Somebody's bleeding, he needs medical attention. Do you abandon the person there because you're going home, or you ensure that he's given medical attention? So it appears if Mwana acted by ensuring that Albert is taken to hospital in good time, they may have saved his life. But now, bleeding by 10 o'clock, and then it's discovered at 1 a.m. is when it's being taken to Baghdadi. It clearly shows that they wanted Albert dead, maybe so that the story cannot be told. If he would have been taken to hospital and recover, he would have implicated them by telling the story. So it is all smells bad, and it shows on how careless we could say the police are in terms of preserving human life and safeguarding human life. The safest place you need to feel you are safe is in the hands of the police. When you're walking on the street or anywhere and you see suspicious people maybe following you, and then you see a police, you should be secure. But now, if this is happening and it is being done by police officers, it speaks volumes to the country that we are not safe with the police. And then also, as a police officer, you should have that sense of responsibility. I could even use the example of domestic quarrel. If you have had a domestic quarrel, you are fighting, and somebody gets hurt, do you now assign the neighbors to take the person to hospital, or you jump in and take the person to hospital and try to save the life of that particular person? So a lot needs to be done, and my suggestion is the training process of the police officer should be overhauled, and then the aspect of also the I would say the interrelations between different sectors of policing needs also to be reviewed, and the chain of command needs to be clear. Kanja, looking like he's the deputy of Langat, should not be seen anywhere in the public. I mean, is he answerable to Langat, or Langat is answerable to him? And if he is the boss, what kind of orders has he given? Is he also coming to speak and says until Langat gets mentioned, until there is convincing evidence, is when he will step down? it appears that entire police arrangement is a conduit of evil, that they agree together to do evil and then they will cover up each other. That ought not to be. We should have some degree of responsible dealing, responsible policing, whereby even if your senior is demanding for you to do something that is not right, you have a right to say no. And if they insist, you can resign. On the other side, also, Mkhwana being now is confessing because they wanted to fry him. What was so bad about saving Albert? You have prior information. Prior information is Albert is coming, is a suspect from Homa Bay, and he's here to be disciplined, and the disciplinary are inmates. You are now in charge. You are the one on duty. Why couldn't he get this Albert and hide him somewhere and face the consequences of hiding him, other than having to expose him to danger and then try to salvage him when the danger is getting out of hand? I think there were so many loopholes to save Albert, but the people involved did not just want to do the right thing because they are committed in doing the wrong thing. And this is not the society we want to see. This is not the Kenya we want to see. We need to have some police officers who can put their life on the line, even against their bosses, to save lives. If I was Mkhwana, I would have stolen Albert from the command of whichever, hide him somewhere, and make sure that now the matter is followed up by why didn't you do what we told me, what we told you to do? He said, what did you tell me to do? Uh, where is the law in this that you asked me to do? In the process, he may risk losing his job, but he has saved a life. I think we should exist for saving lives, not destroying destinies. And so, as a police officer, I would say you have an option and you will always have an option. You don't have to carry out those orders as if you are a robot and you don't have a choice. You will always have a choice and choose to do the right thing. It may not be popular, it may not be celebrated, but you will be remembered for doing the right thing, even against your own comfort and your own welfare. That to me is more honorable as a police officer than you are trying to look for promotion or looking for appearing right in the eyes of an evil boss who wants to mess you up by introducing you or encouraging you to do the wrong thing. So, police officers, let's do the right thing, even against our bosses, even against our seniors. That to me is a better legacy and is a better approach towards dealing with helping this country. Well, I think that is it, unless otherwise.
Thank you, Bernard, for that. I'm having a trouble a little bit, but I'll be fine.
Shadizo,
Yes, Lala.
let me
Yes,
just
Lala.
comment on, just emphasize on what Bernard is saying.
Okay.
Now,
Go on.
hello? Yeah. So, Bernard, you know, what you're saying is really true. But the problem now is the culture. We are talking about a culture where what Mkhwana did is what perhaps everybody else is doing to get away ahead. Okay. So, and that's why we think of it as a cartel. What is really going on in our police system? Because this is not the first time we've had people being brutalized in the police cell or people disappeared with this, all that. This is going on when we know we have a very good police force, okay, police service, well trained. The question is, where is that training, okay, going to? When you hear of abduction, you hear of the shooting and all that, it means there is something sinister that is going on within that system. And I think what we have been able to do is to have a peek into how things are being done. Mukhwana is a very good example of someone who perhaps desperate for promotion. And what is it that I can do to be recognized by a deputy police chief, Mr. Lagat? Okay, if I carry out what Mr. Talam is saying, and so we now have to question why Talam is there. Is he a conduit to this? Is he one of the people being planted there? And so it begins to look like almost like a mafia kind of a operation called the police in Kenya, which to me should be disbanded. That's my sense, that something has to be done drastically, because for a man like Mukhwana and others to be very comfortable to do what they do, even asking other Mobusu to pick somebody, when that is an obvious thing that can be discovered. And that goes on, within a system that is supposed to be well-trained. That tells you this thing is not just a very simple act that happened that night. This is a very systematic thing. And there are a lot of stories out there, people that have been hurt, they didn't die, okay? So they don't want to talk about what they went through. They don't want to talk about, things, sexual, activities that I think we had mentioned that they would do things like that. And so we are dealing with a very dark, place, very sinister animal. We are talking about a system that needs true surgery so that we can be able to go back to where this thing is functional. To me, if someone like Talam is there, if this is true, what we are hearing, that you can tell somebody to teach somebody a lesson, start beating somebody in a cell, that's an animal. That's not right. That's evil. And right now they're earning whose money? Whose taxpayer? It's yours and mine. And Ms. Lagat is still thinking of coming back, because he doesn't think that's done anything. If what we are hearing is what the truth is, but the truth is the fact that Ojwang is dead. An innocent man is dead. Faded from Homa Bay. To me, that idea of even fading a human being, even if something was good, the funds used is a misuse of an office. That by itself should have been a question that should have been raised to figure out why would things like that be done. They can justify it as a crime, whatever, but resources are generally put in the place where they are best used. What's the use going to Homa Bay to get someone when actually they could be questioned right there? You have the DCI. Why then are they there? Question is, summon him, tell him, come, question what's really going on here, and then invite him to explain, but not to put somebody from their environment to another place. No, I see more right now that needs to be handled and taken care of, or else I don't think we're going to have a trust in our police, in our system. If I wouldn't want to let my kids go. And lastly, let me say this: we had during Gen Z talks and when Mandamano's going on, we had I think before Gen Z, we had a discussion here, and a gentleman, compared the system we have now, the government, the way it is, and compared it to colonial time, in our tribal areas. And what he stated was that, which is just a fact, what he stated is that when you go to a home, even now, many homes, you will have a rungu, a spear, a shield, and those are for protection, okay? Protecting the village. So nobody would come and take your animal or abduct your child. You know, if there's a problem, there's a chief, or there is a sub-chief, or the elders of the village to take care of it right there and there. But every village, every community are protected. And even you can extend to the whole tribe is a protection against, outsider. But you see, we got into what we call government, Kenya. We agreed that now we will have one centralized place for our protection. So the idea of the police and army came to be. So many of us traded our spears, traded our arrows, traded those things that we had to protect ourselves, because we believed that the government would protect us. Okay, so we came to the idea that this is the best place that we can be safe. Now look at what has happened. Look at when you see something like this. It's easy to begin to see our ethnicization. People begin to act to defend themselves. Because I've heard Homa Bay people are saying, why must we bear this pain every time we hear somebody dying, okay? So I can even hear the voice to arm ourselves, protect ourselves, because you don't want to see your people die every day, abducted from their home, all the way to Homa Bay and abduct somebody when the system is there. In other words, they don't trust the Homa Bay people to take care of their own. It's almost like, who are you? So we feel demoralized as a system, as a people. And I can see people becoming very militant, okay? So instead of building a unity, people become ethnicized, okay? Because you are sure that your family can defend you, your tribe can defend you, Kenya will not defend you. So why would you fight for Kenya when it can't defend you? And those are the areas where we begin to see corruption, tribalism, and the society begin to disintegrate. So these are cases which are so critical and must be handled well. Kenyans must see that this is handled well for us to trust that we can be one, instead of thinking of myself as a Luo or as this tribe or like this village. Begin to arm myself, make simple bombs to protect myself, which some of us can do. Can do a little bomb to somebody come to my home, it will blow up. It's not expensive to create a bomb, and some of us, can be able to train others to do that. Okay, so these are things that we are trying to run away from because we want to be big and larger and united as Kenyans. But people like this act, this system, the way they're operating is actually doing the opposite. We talk of we are united, we are a church, love the Lord, but then when things like this happen, then you start questioning, even preachers, why would I be preached to that we need to be one? We need not to trust our guns and all this, because we are protected by this country that is under God, we love God, yet the same government is abducting your son and your daughter and disappearing, and many have disappeared. Many Juangs are out there, disappeared. Nobody knows where they are, and many have been buried. Didn't start with the Gen Z before even Baba's time. They're dying, and I think it is Kajuang, who is the same name as Ojuang. They have the same. That's the same name. Almost from nothing. That's what Ojuang is, nothing. Okay, and he stated the number of people he has buried. And the number is big. Homa Bay has, bore the brunt of killing, and perhaps no other, in this period in terms of fighting this last fight, more than any other place, fighting for justice. People die more. I think majority probably come from Homa Bay, maybe other places, maybe northeastern and others, but that's a different case altogether. So we must preserve our unity. And the only way is for us to do right. The Juang case is a critical case, it's an example of a case that we must win. Justice must be seen, not just seen, but must be done in the case of Juang. And that's what may restore us to begin to trust again that we are well protected, we are Kenyans, okay? That we believe in the Project Kenya, that we are part of it, that we want it to succeed. Because why would I want to succeed? You know, I come from Mobe myself. And let me tell you, when if I drive for 30 minutes, okay, I will have gone to Mboya's, grave. I will have gone to Mboya's grave. I will have gone to some of the kids that we saw die. You know, some of those I went to bury them. You know, out there killed by the police, and I would have gone to Ojuang's place. So within 30 minutes, I will have visited at least about 20 graves who have died in the last few years. Police bullet. Homa Bay alone. So this is unacceptable. Back to you, Tedizo.
Thank you, Lala, for the submission. We're moving on swiftly, although I'm having a problem with my internet. So disturbing a little bit, but you know, I appreciate for the communication. I feel like how we could be closing up the curtains, but before we close them, I want to hear one last opinion before I bring the streets back from Lala also and from Bernard, just briefly to hear from you, and it will be good. Okay, let me begin with Bernard. Bernard, what do you tell our Kenyans, more so those young men who still stand up, and every Kenyan so standing out to make sure that our nation stands to the right path, not going to the wrong direction?
We must keep vigilant. Our freedoms are threatened, our safety is threatened. This is not an administration that can allow us to afford to sleep. So, as young people, let's remain vigilant and ensure that our gains are not reversed. Because what is happening is systematic reversal of all the democratic and constitutional gains that we have made, and of course, that have been paid for by uh, the blood of precious Kenyans in the quest for those particular freedoms. And so let's not relent until justice is served to each and every Kenyan. And then more than that, we need to have all public officers accountable. No more complacence, no more going slow. I think we need to heighten the pressure and sustain that pressure until it delivers. Just like Lagat has stepped aside, we should engage now other people who are mentioned in this also to step aside until we are able to get to the bottom of everything. And going forward, a free country means free people, and free people can only be within the framework of the provision of the rule of law, not individuals. Let's shun from the so-called empowerment programs, the bribes that are taking place by Kindiki and the team in the pretext of trying to dissuade Kenyans and make them change their mind about the William Ruto unconstitutional governance. William Ruto can only run this country rightly when he's following the constitution, not the bribing of Mama Bogas and bribing of youth groups and all that. William Ruto needs to sit and operate within the provision of the constitution, work through parliament, work through the judiciary, work through the county governments, and ensure that the welfare of Kenyans is taken care of. He should desist from all this aspect of I've brought for you a market, I brought for you a road, I brought for you a school, I have brought for you a school bus. That old fashion of politics should end. Let's have the politics of ensuring that institutions are working, systems are working, and those institutions and systems are working in the interest of the people of Kenya. If we cannot work within that environment, he should resign and let someone competent, able to run the affairs of this country constitutionally and setting up systems that will guarantee the welfare of each and every Kenyan. Let that person be given that opportunity. Lastly, the opportunity to change leaders is given every time there is general elections. Going forward in the next general elections, no more sentimental treatment of people being put in office. Let each and every individual being considered for any office from the president to the MCA be put in the scale, be weighed, scrutinized, and checked thoroughly. Let's only entrust leadership to people that are competent, people with character, people with integrity, not my people, not our tribe, not our kinsmen, not our classmates. Let us for once consider competence and consider that leadership is what determines whether the country moves forward or not, whether our safety is guaranteed or not. And so, as especially those warming themselves up to vote for the first time or vote for the second time, please don't go and vote for an idiot. Don't go and vote for a killer. Don't go and vote for somebody who cannot safeguard you, your family, your children, and your children's children. Don't vote in somebody who is greedy and wants to eat everything for, every yes, every tomorrow. He wants to eat it today. He wants to eat your future today and leave you nothing. Don't entertain those kind of people. And then, of course, let's run away from handouts. Handouts is what has made this country become a mockery. Let us not entertain those handouts. I don't advocate for kwenda kukula pesa yake alafu tutapatia kura mtu mwingine. Tuachane tu na hiyo corruption kabisa kabisa. Tuchague viongozi ambao wanafaa, wenye heshima, ili tuheshimike na tufurahie kwamba tulipatia uongozi mtu ambaye akiongea tunafurahia na tunaona kwamba tunajivunia. Tusipatie kura mtu ambaye kwa sababu alitupatia hela, lakini akifungua mdomo wake tunaaibika. Akiulizwa swali tunaanza kuomba kwamba asifungue mdomo kwa sababu atasema mambo ambayo hayafai. Public service ipeane kwa watu ambao ni waaminifu, watu ambao wa kutegemewa na watu ambao tuko salama mikononi mwao. Kama hatuko salama mikononi mwake, tusimpatie mamlaka, tusimpatie nafasi ya uongozi. Nafasi ya uongozi iachiwe wale watu ni waaminifu, watu wanyoofu, watu wa kuaminika. Asante sana, naomba basi mimi nitamalizia hapo. Tukutane tutakapokutana. Asante.
Asante, wacha tusikize Lala.
Wenzangu utafunga basi. Kwangu pia ni kusema ni lazima tufundishe wenzetu uongozi bora, manake tuwakumbushe, manake wanajua uongozi bora. Wanawatafutia watoto wao wakitaka kwenda shule, wanatafutia daktari mzuri akiwa ataka mtoto katibiwe, nguo akiona mzuri anatafuta huyu fundi alitengeza hiyo fundi anitengeze nguo. Yani tunajua kuchagua vitu ambavyo ni vizuri. Mungu ametupa ile hekima. We have ubongo na tumebarikiwa, lakini onekana kama wakati wa uchaguzi tunakuwa wajinga wa mwisho. Tunaangalia watu ambao hawatakusaidia. So why would you go to elect someone who you know very well hatakusaidia? Kwa sababu amekupatia shilingi 1,000 ama 2,000, unampatia kura yako, ambaye kura yako hiyo ndiye tajirisha huyo jamaa. Okay? Na tunajua wanafanya miaka baada ya miaka, tunaona wakitajirika, lakini wewe na watoto wako, wewe na watu wako wanakuwa fukara zaidi na zaidi. Okay? Lakini bado tunafanya tu hivyo tu, tunangoja hiyo pesa tu. Sasa hiyo ndio shetani. Okay? Ukipeana kura yako mtu ambaye unajua hata kusaidia, hiyo unapeana shetani kabisa, ni shetani. Maana yake Mungu pia si mjinga kupeana watu kwa kila pahali. Kuna watu ambao wana integrity, watu ambao wanajua vile wanafanya, wako pale, na ndio kazi yako utafute huyo jamaa, huyo mtu, mwanamke, mama, na umpatie kura yako, hata kama hana pesa, na huyo ndiye ataangalia silahi lako. You will see will take care of the community and the needs that you have. Lakini we keep making mistakes over and over and over again. Okay? Because we are getting that cheap money. That money is expensive. It's a very expensive money because you're selling mtoto wako kwenda kufanya kazi huko Saudi, huko au Arabe, huko unapatia kazi watu kama huyu Lagat au watu wengine ambao sijui, lakini ambao watakunyanyasa. Okay? Ni lazima tujifundishe jamani, ili tuchukue tuende kwa ushukani wa nchi yetu. Manake wale tunafanya wanaendesha gari, wanaendesha nchi yetu, wamekunwa, they are impaired psychologically, na wanaendesha hii gari kwenye lake, hata Lake Victoria ama Indian Ocean, na tukijiadhari hatutakuwa na hata kidogo ambayo uko naye, itakuwa itaenda kabisa. Na it's very sad, Wakenya wenzangu. Mimi ni Mkenya, naishi nje, lakini nikirudi Kenya nasikia vibaya sana, kwa sababu unaona mama ama baba mjane ameuza hiyo land alikuwa naye. Okay? Akampeleka mtoto shule ama amefanya kazi fulani, lakini sasa hawana pale pa kuishi, na hiyo value land yake amenyang'anywa tu. Manake amepewa pesa kidogo, nafikiri pesa nyingi, lakini yule amechukua hiyo land anajua itampatia kitu, how much, when actually you yourself ukipewa elimu kidogo, you can go to the bank. That banks are there for, and you and the bank can work together to develop that land of yours, and that land still remain yours, and you can make something out of it. Okay, a lot of plots we can do that. A lot of people become rich that way. When you have land, when you una mahali, mali, that mali, you got wealth. Okay, but when anytime you sell it and the money goes to the bank, as you see pesa tena, it is gone. Okay, now when it's gone, then now the same politicians, same chiefs who help you sign that land, now they will not help you, and you end up people who are not able to make good decisions. So the politicians comes anakupatia pesa kidogo, manake huna msimamo, unaenda tu vile anataka. And this is how we are getting impoverished every time. It's very, very sad. We used to be rich. A lot of places you go there, people are poor. Hakuna granaries, hakuna kitu. Ulikuwa tuna mwimbi, mahindi, vitu kama hizo zimeenda. Naangalia macho za watu na ufukara. Sio kwa sababu hatuna, kwa sababu knowledge is not used, and their people are hiding it so that they can make a million, billions out of you. You are the rich one, and they're getting it from you. Those helicopters you see running out there, that's your own money. So those things that you see happening out there, and it's so sad because watu wamesoma ama sisi ndio tumefanya vibaya sana kwa nchi yetu. Let us wake up. use that kura to elect the right people. If all of us in this channel can tell somebody, educate someone to know their right, to know what they have in store, I think we can begin to make a headway, because we talk here. At the end of the day, when the election comes, people move back either to their own tribes, and the people who are the tribalists, many of them don't care about you. They just use it. Anaambia wale wanubaya, nipigie kura hivi na hivi, na ukisha patia kura wameenda. They are back to those friends. They hang together. Their children work together. They go out to places like New York and Dubai. You know, they don't go there as tribes. They go there as them and their friends and their girlfriend, and it's just about them. But when they come to you to get your kura yako, sasa ndio sisi ni Waluya, sisi ni Wajaluo, sisi ni Wakisi. That's when they come for you, because you're giving them that authority to go to Uko Dubai to have fun. Okay? So we must be educated. We must stand with the Gen Z and the young people so that we can liberate this country. And it can be done because we are rich, we are equipped. So, Jadizo, thank you very much. And that's my last word. God bless.
Thank you, Lala, for the good words, and thank you for everyone for joining up. We will be meeting up later for the next amazing day that we'll be having, beginning with Bernard and others. Story coming up too. What I want to ask you, please subscribe if you have never subscribed, share the live, also share to other people so that they can be part and parcel of this, as even we are moving on together and creating up the memories and creating up our nation as we are moving on swiftly. I don't have much to say, but to thank you all for coming through, to appreciate for those who are watching. Please let us do so. Let us share at least at part 10, let us share 10 for 10 people and at least 5 groups, and it will be good so that we can still on moving towards that. I don't have much to say, but to bring it to an end and saying that, then miss next show.
Tunaingia vijijini, mijini na hata jijini kukuletea taarifa mchana kutwa. Usiku tunaketi kitako, tunadadavua tukichanganua taarifa na makala muhimu yanayokuhusu wewe na familia yako. Ungana na Bernard Ngozi kwenye Open Forum Political Show kuanzia saa 4 usiku hadi dakika zake kila siku ya wiki kwenye